Hello, fellow, I guess not fellow, I'm not a federal employee. I was going to call you fellow federal employees, but I'm not a federal employee. I'm on the private side, right? But welcome, federal employees, to this episode of my videos, my podcast, wherever you're consuming this. You are in store, yes, you are in store for a great episode, great content today. So today is going to be on something you probably haven't heard about. Most people, most feds don't even know it exists, and if they do, they probably don't understand how it works and if it makes sense for them. So let's dig right in, and it is phased retirement, right? There's immediate retirement, there's deferred retirement, there's postponed retirement, but this is a different type of retirement called phased retirement. Okay, so we're going to go through how you're eligible, if it makes sense for you, and how your benefits are affected, all that nitty-gritty stuff. Like always, I have a list of things that we want to think about as we're going through. It's like, maybe this makes sense for me, right? So let's get right into it. So the first thing, just as a general idea of what it is, phased retirement is your agency's effort, OPM's effort, to keep the talent of the agency, the people that have all the experience, all the knowledge that they've just gained over decades of a career in the agency as long as they can, to transfer that to the next generation. And they do this with a phased retirement, which basically means someone doesn't go into full retirement. So they don't stop working completely, but they work less. They work part-time so that they can still help, they can still teach, they can still train, they can still do some of their same duties, just at less time, okay? And basically how it works, let's say you're doing half-time, you're doing 50%. You do phased retirement, so you're half-time at 50%, so 20 hours a week. What that looks like is you're gonna get half of your regular salary, and you're gonna get half of your pension. So it works like that. And if you're working, let's say 80% of the time, then you're gonna get 80% of your salary and 20% of your pension. That's kind of how the numbers work out. Now, to be eligible for phased retirement, a couple things have to exist. A couple things have to work for this to work for you and your life. The first is you have to be eligible already for an immediate annuity or immediate retirement, okay? So for your CSRS out there, your CSRS, you have to be at least 55 and 50 and 30 years of service, or 60 with 20 years. For the FERS out there, you have to have your minimum retirement age with 30 years of service, or at age 60 with 20 years of service. Now, for FERS, generally, if you're 62 and you have 5 years of service, you would be able to retire with an immediate annuity. And that's true, you will. But if you are 62 and with 5 years of service under the FERS, you are not eligible, unfortunately, for the phased retirement, right? That's the one piece about having an immediate annuity that you would not then be eligible for this phased retirement. So you have to qualify under at least your minimum retirement age, which is 55, 56, 57 for most people, and 30 years of service, or at age 60 with 20 years of service to be eligible. And then the second kind of component that has to exist for you to be eligible for this is your agency has to allow it. You have to work with your agency to know if they'll let you do that for your specific position, because it really is agency specific and job specific whether they want that kind of thing in your role, right? So they have to make that decision there. Now, let me see. Now, a couple details about a buyout. So, if you were, I guess, given a buyout where the agency was like, hey, we'll pay you to retire now. If you take that buyout, you cannot take it and then go into phased retirement. You cannot do that. Now, if it's the other way around, if you are already in phased retirement and the agency offers a buyout, you would be able to take it. So it only works that way, not the other way around. Okay. Next, in phased retirement, there is, I guess, a requirement, a rule, whatever. As you first enter phased retirement, it's an undisclosed amount of time, meaning there's no set amount of time, but you will have to work at 50% time, or half time, so 20 hours a week, basically. You'd be working 20 hours a week for a certain amount of time, and they require at least 20% of your working time to be with other people, younger people, training them and giving them experience and knowledge that you have gained over your career. So those are some of the main requirements and rules and kind of what it would look like for you if you actually took this phased retirement. Okay, now, with your benefits, let's talk about how things are affected. And in reality, it is gonna feel like, for the most part, like you're still working. The only benefit that's gonna be different is your pension, where you're going to start drawing that before you're actually full-blown retire. You're gonna be drawing that as you're working with your salary at the same time. But your FEHB is gonna be the same, your FEGLI is gonna be the same, the premiums are gonna come straight out of the payroll, your paycheck, just the same. All your other insurances, your Fed VIP, your long-term care if you have that, your TSP, it's all gonna be the same, okay? That is important to know. Okay, but your leave, your annual leave, your sick leave accumulates the same, but it is gonna be prorated. Meaning, if you're only working half-time at 50%, you're only gonna be accumulating 50% of the sick leave, the annual leave, that you would otherwise. Okay. And the last kind of piece of this is when you go into phased retirement, they calculate your pension, right? They have to calculate it because they're going to start paying you a pension as you go into phased retirement. And so they base that number for your entire phased retirement. But once you decide, hey, I'm done with phased retirement, I'm going to go into full retirement, stop working completely, they then recalculate your pension based on your new credible service and your new sick leave, right? They recalculate it, and that is what they're going to base your pension on for your full retirement. So basically when you're not working at all. So that is kind of in a nutshell what phased retirement is. And now it might look a little different depending on your agency, your specific job. But if you're interested in this, you're approaching retirement, I would definitely talk to your agency. Talk to them and say, hey, is this an option for me? Because if it is, that could be a great option, not only to kind of phase out emotionally out of your job. Sometimes it's hard to stop working immediately, and even financially to stop working all of a sudden, especially if, let's say, you're too young for Social Security or other reasons. It may be hard financially to stop working completely, but maybe doing 60% of your time or half time or something like that might make it a lot easier to continue, maybe still to invest in your TSP or not draw it down so quickly. Right? There's a lot of pros and cons here that could really affect your financial life and also just your emotional life, your family life, having more time for family or not. Making this decision can really make a big difference for, against, whatever your retirement goals. So I hope this is interesting to you. I hope that some of you this might apply to, so that you can use it and actually get closer to your goals, closer to a life that you truly want. Okay, again, I hope this is helpful, and I do have a ton of content about your federal benefits. I have a course on your TSP. It's a mini course. I have a mini course on Social Security, and of course a full-blown out course on your FERS pre-retirement complete checklist. I have all of this. It's all going to be in the description below. If you want more info, check that out. It's got a ton of stuff. There is no excuse nowadays with the internet about not getting the most out of your benefits to really have an incredible retirement, because you are so blessed as a federal employee to have the benefits that you do. And it is up to you then to educate yourself on what you have, then to get the most out of it. So again, I hope this was helpful, and I will see you next week. And again, thank you for making it to the end of my video, the end of my podcast. I hope this brought value to you and your life. My goal with this content is to bring as much value to as many people as I possibly can. So please, if you can, if this brought value to you, please show your support, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, comment, give me feedback about what you want to hear about, what you want to learn about, and how you can get more value out of this, and so that I could do the very best I can to make this the best channel for my viewers, for my listeners, the very best I can. So again, thank you for being here and investing in yourself and in your future. And I will see you next week.